Samsung's Galaxy S26 Ultra is here, and I wanted to break down all of the most important features that you need to know about as quickly as I possibly can. I've spent about an hour and a half with this phone trying to get to know all of the different features and everything from the privacy display to the new charging capabilities, as well as the agentic AI features, and of course that new design. We're going to go through all that. So let's get started. This is super raw, unscripted. If you're new here, my name is Lexy and I make down-to-earth tech videos for the real world. Please make sure to subscribe to support my channel. Okay, all that out of the way. Let's talk about the privacy display first up. Even after all of the leaks and rumors highlighting this feature, in person, it actually is pretty mind-blowing. I'm just so excited finally that there is something new to talk about rather than AI features and all of the other stuff that I feel like is just so iterative. This is just genuinely new and it's nothing that we've seen before. So this is essentially turning off individual pixels in order to protect either certain parts of the screen, or you can conversely do the entire screen. I have to say I saw a couple of demos of this. So there was notifications that are being blocked out, and that's wild, being able to see it straight on as a normal notification and then turn slightly to the side and it starts to get darker and darker and darker until finally you just can't see anything. So it's going to block notifications. You'll also be able to do it on a per app basis. So for example, if you just want a banking app to be blocked out, you can choose that as well. Or you can have the entire display activated to this privacy mode. And I did a little bit of a side-by-side with you against the S25 Ultra, which obviously does not have this feature, to kind of show you that off-axis effect. It is very effective. There's also the option to amp up this effect even more. There's the maximum privacy display setting. And what this is going to do is you'll notice that when the normal or regular privacy display mode is on, that the blacks look pretty accurate and true to life. When you turn on the maximum mode, it's actually going to make everything look a little bit more gray. So the blacks become pretty much almost invisible, and it really makes it very, very difficult for anybody to see what's going on, even if the phone is either in a vertical or a horizontal orientation. Really, this is the coolest feature of the phone, and it's the one that I'm personally the most excited to get to test out in the real world. Of course, we've got to talk about the design because this is another area where things have really changed up again, but maybe not to the extent that you were expecting. At least I was kind of surprised at how similar this felt to the S25 series. So the S26 Ultra has more rounded corners, but in reality, it's not as dramatic as you were expecting. It's still a 6.9-inch AMOLED display. The phone, however, is thinner. It is 7.9 millimeters, but in the hand, the thinness doesn't really come across as dramatically as I was expecting. What is the more dramatic change is the materials. It's now made of aluminum, or aluminium as I say, and this is where the weight savings really become apparent. For me, the S25 Ultra has always been a very large phone in the hand and it feels heavy after a while. The S26 Ultra is a lot lighter when I was using them both side by side. The S Pen though has remained pretty much unchanged. There's still no Bluetooth in it. So if you're coming from an older phone, say like a Galaxy Note series or an S22 Ultra, S23 Ultra, you're not going to be able to use things like Air Actions anymore. And also something else that was a little bit of a surprise was that the phone is still only Qi 2 ready. So this means that there are no magnets in the phone in terms of wireless charging with a MagSafe compatible charger or a Pixel Snap charger or whatever it is you're using that uses magnets. You're going to have to use a compatible case. Samsung did make a big deal about all of its cases now being extra Qi 2 ready, extra thin, extra light. They all feel really nice, but it's still a bummer for me that we don't have that built into the phone, that we still need to rely on an extra case. Fortunately, wireless charging does get a bit of a boost. It is now maximum 25 watts with a supported charger, and a wired charging is also now 60 watts. So Samsung said 0 to 75% in about half an hour. And in terms of the processing power on board, you're getting the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, which is specifically been tuned for Galaxy devices. So Samsung said even though that there will be other devices using this chip, it's going to perform much more efficiently on the S26 series. And the colors, of course, there are options here, although they're a little bit more muted than I was hoping. Cobalt Violet is the hero color. There's also going to be sky blue, black and white. And if you order them online, you'll be able to choose between silver shadow and pink gold as well. And finally, the price is also unchanged. In the US, $1,299 is the starting price for the 256 gigabyte model. No 128s here. What am I talking about? And it's going to be available for pre-order on the 25th of February and going on sale officially on the 11th of March. On the camera side, the main things to know is the improvements in the widest maximum aperture. So now the main 200 megapixel camera is now at f1.4. So in theory, this should deliver better low light photos as well as better low light video. Now, Samsung did say that this low light video will be recognizing different noise patterns that are present in each lens and then applying corrections based on that. I saw a bit of a demo of this in a low light environment, and while it looked good on the screen, I couldn't really tell if it was any better than the S25 Ultra because I wasn't able to do a side-by-side. The photo assist is getting some new functionality, and the best thing about this is that it actually works all on device. So if you're familiar with something like Google Photos, you'll be able to do things like prompt-based editing within Gemini in Google Photos, but this is actually on device in the Gallery app. So you could do something like take a photo of a cake with a slice taken out of it and then type in your prompt, make this cake whole again, or fill in the cake, whatever you want, in very natural language, and it will generate a result. More interesting though is the ability to kind of merge two different scenes. Say, for example, you take a selfie and then you want to say put a hat on you that's on a different frame to sort of see what it looks like and try something on. You'll be able to do that. And a little bit strange, the AI decided to give me, I guess, a bit of a glow up. I don't know whether to be offended or flattered that it changed my face every single time I tried to generate a result. And while we're on the topic of AI, quickly, let's talk about the agentic AI experiences that the S26 Ultra and the S26 series is bringing. Something that may be useful is a feature called Now Nudges. This is very reminiscent of Magic Q that was on the Pixel 10 series. And say, for example, you get a message from a friend asking if you are free on a certain day and time. It's going to automatically look at your calendar and your connected apps and be able to pull in contextual information. So you'll be able to just send a quick response or do a quick double check without you having to manually open the other app. The next part of the agentic equation is coming through these automated app actions. So you can ask Gemini, for example, to book you an Uber to a specific location, again, using very natural language. And in the background, it's just going to be doing all of those actions for you based on that one prompt. At the time of launch, it should be working with Uber Eats, Amazon, and Instacart. Those are the ones that I asked a Samsung rep for, and that's what they confirmed. So we'll see if there are more apps going forward in the future that are compatible with this. So here's where things get a little bit confusing. You're going to have so much choice on this phone to work out which model you want to use. So for example, you can have Gemini, you can have Perplexity, you can also use Bixby if you want. And of course, with Gemini as your main model, you're going to be doing things like those automated app actions. You can also do things like Gemini's personal intelligence that just launched in January and everything else that Gemini can do. But I really think this is going to be confusing for a lot of people that don't know which model to choose for what task. Stay tuned because I want to see if it lives up to all this hype.